Hey, Colts Nation, do you want peace of mind while surfing the internet and while also viewing our content safely? Well, now you can, thanks to our sponsor, Aura. It's no doubt, guys, with the internet becoming so massive and new information being put out there every single day, identity theft has become one of the biggest forms of threat in the world. It's important that you guys remain safe out there on the internet while doing all the things that you do. Let Aura be able to help you. Some of you may have things like Aura already, but this allows you to protect everything on all of your devices all in one place, rather than having several different apps all at once, making it easier to track everything and helps your wallet. Aura monitors the dark web to protect your personal information. It checks all of your devices for malware, gives you guys one-click VPNs to help you when you're shopping online, and so much more. You can even get credit score checks and alerts for suspicious activities if something's going on with your cards. If you want to stop people from getting access to your personal information online, be sure to go to our sponsor, aura.com/bringthejuice, or scan the QR code and get a 14-day free trial and see for yourself the benefits Aura can provide for you. Allow Aura to protect you so you can get back to surfing the internet safely and enjoy your favorite Colts content creators. What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guys, Derek and Cody, with you as always. And guys, Colts football is back this week. Can't believe it. Feels like an eternity, but Colts football is back this week, as it is for the entire NFL. All teams have now commenced into training camp this week, and there is some Colts news to discuss. And on top of this, before we even get into the topic of today's video, just want to say again, thank you guys for all the support. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all that good stuff. Thank you very much for all the support. Also, another thing, just from another Colts news before the topic we're about to discuss, Anthony Richardson has indeed signed with the Indianapolis Colts today. This comes after a couple bigger names throughout the league. I think actually two different rookie quarterbacks actually just signed their deals over the last 24 hours. So Colts trying to get that in right before training camp started. So Anthony Richardson is signed to a fully guaranteed contract for his first 4 years on this team. So really awesome. Glad that Anthony Richardson has finally gotten that deal done. And today we finally get into the topic of this video. And it comes from Stephen Holder on ESPN. He went on earlier the other day and stated that the Indianapolis Colts are planning to split first-team reps between Richardson and Gardner Minshew to start training camp. Basically, Cody, do you agree with the Colts' decision to do this? What's your first thoughts when you're hearing that Richardson and Minshew are basically doing 50-50 on reps so far?
I think I'm not too surprised at all. I don't think a lot of us are too surprised if you kind of saw how they were divvied up in the spring. You know, it kind of seemed like it was about that. It almost seemed like every time the media was out there, Minshew was getting the first team reps. So I'm fine with it, man. I'm honestly good with starting 50-50 and letting whoever is the guy, move forward with it. I'm good with starting out, being 50-50 overall. I don't think it's much. I don't think it's too shocking that would be the thing. And it gives Richardson the chance to take it over if indeed he is, as good or better than maybe we're thinking he is. So I'm totally good with him, sharing snaps. Now, obviously, would love, if Richardson was getting all the snaps by next week. But, that's probably not going to be a reality, right? So overall, I'm good with it. I wasn't too shocked when I heard the news. I'm like, yeah, probably pretty expected at this point, 50-50. And because it's no guarantee Richardson's going to be your starter week one. So, I mean, I would love for him to, but you know what? Like, we knew he was going to take some time and take some patience, and that's just kind of how it is right now.
Yeah, like you said, I'm not too shocked at them splitting 50-50. There's a lot of things that go into this. And of course, Anthony Richardson, again, is extremely raw. He's going to need some more time to be able to invest into this. And it's going to debate, and it's going to segue into the other part of this topic. But I mean, of course, you want to make sure both quarterbacks that you have on this roster going forward, that they have reps with the first team so they know what they're getting into as the season gets closer. Now, of course, as we get further into training camp, this is not it's a guarantee that Richardson and Minshew are going to get, the same reps throughout the whole training camp. This could be a thing where, well, hello, Colt. It could be a thing where Richardson gets part of the snaps for the first week or so, and then maybe a couple weeks down the road, maybe Richardson gets all of the snaps. Maybe they want to get him even more reps. But I would just say that, it's not a huge deal right now. They don't want to just throw all their chips into one basket when it comes to Anthony Richardson, which I'm okay with, but it pretty much gives the segue to this, Cody. Like, we've seen reports coming out supposedly that, they are still unsure on whether or not Anthony Richardson is going to be the starter come week 1. There's some people that are saying that they plan to have him as the starter by midway through the season. Now, of course, this is just rumors and reports. I don't really firmly believe it, but I mean, with that, I mean, it does make you wonder, Cody, again, and we've had this conversation so many times, like, that makes you wonder, is Richardson, still not, clear enough to be the week 1 starter? And, maybe this means that Minshew might actually have it over him right now. And I got to say, like, I don't know if splitting the reps right now is necessarily what Anthony Richardson needs.
Well, I mean, you just haven't seen it. Like, you just haven't seen him in live reps. Like, you just have no clue at this point what he's going to be, right? So I don't think it hurts right now at all. No, I don't. I think you'll see further on kind of, how it trends. If it's Minshew getting more of the snaps as training camp goes on, or if it's Richardson, I think they'll lean that direction. I think it's just too early to say this is the Colts' plan, right? You just don't know. Like, plans can change very quickly. And I think it all does depend on, how does Richardson look? Is he as raw as maybe some people are saying, or is he maybe more ready than some people are saying? And, so I'm good with starting 50-50 and going from there. And I don't necessarily think it would hurt, his development, because I think he's still so young. He's 21 years old. I would personally like to see him out there. I know Jim Irsay would like to see him out there. But, no, as far as right now, I don't really see it being something that would, hurt him, moving forward. I think it'll just be something where you can take your time with him. If he's ready to go, great, awesome. He'll be your week 1 starter. If not, you got a good backup option. You got a good bridge guy there. Yeah, I guess for me, I'm not too concerned, overall. And I just can't, say, oh, that's actually absolutely true, because I don't necessarily think it can be right now, because you can't say this is this is what we're going to do, because you literally have not seen Anthony Richardson in full pads. Like, you have not seen him in full pads against an NFL defense in live reps. So, those joint practices you have, those different things that you have, those things are going to be so valuable to seeing if he indeed is ready. And if he is, then I think you roll with it. But if not, you have another option. So, yeah, all these people kind of speculating what the Colts are going to do. Like, look, we're not even into August yet. Like, we don't know at this point. So, it's going to take a little bit of time,
I mean, the crappy part is like, even if Anthony Richardson is in full pads when, which he's going to be for training camp, there's still going to be a whole nother month where Anthony Richardson is only going to get so many game time reps. Because let's admit it, like, the training camp is not game time reps. It's not. You can do as much practice as you want. Those reps are only going to do so much in preparing Anthony Richardson potentially for what the real situation is. Because in training camp, he's not going to get touched. It doesn't matter how elusive he is or what he wants to do with running or the packages and stuff. Like, nobody's out there to go and kill Anthony Richardson, which is what people would do in a regular game. So we won't know how he responds with that kind of adversity until we get into the preseason games And even then, that's against vanilla coverage and not necessarily anything mind-blowing, right? So it's tough because we won't know just how good Anthony Richardson actually is until we actually see him play a real snap and real primetime football. And unfortunately, we're going to have to wait another, 6 weeks to see that. It's just kind of at a point again where we're having the same argument. Like, should he start week 1? Should he not? It's kind of one of those same things. I just keep going back to the same thing, Cody. I say, like, this team is going to struggle one way or another this year, man. I mean, we've got an all-rookie, basically secondary, right? Like, all first contract guys who have very few of them have had any football experience at this level. You've got young wide receivers. You've got an offensive line that's still trying to put itself back together. And even if you put Gardner Minshew on this team, it's still not going to really do much for the success of the team in terms of wins and losses. Just the ultimate question is if you put Anthony Richardson out there right away and give him all these reps and he does bad, like, what does that do for his confidence? Like, is it just too much for him to handle all in one go? So, again, if anyone's seen my opinions of it, I've been on board the whole let Anthony Richardson go out there trying, and if he fails, he fails. Let him keep trying because it's just not going to do any good for him sitting on the bench. But then again, I get the crowd of people who say that, doing that could really hurt his confidence going forward.
I see both ways being beneficial, right? I do. Like, I agree with you in terms of, like, the whole idea of, yeah, getting him experience for sure. He needs it. He's only had 13 games of football in his entire career. So he needs it, but also, like, could it be good for him to not get thrown out there right away to the Wolves, right? So I see both sides of it. And again, like, Richardson's just turned 21. So it's not like if he doesn't start a couple games at the beginning of the year, it's going to, like, destroy his development, right? He's got plenty of time to be developed. We already knew he was going to be a project. So it's kind of like if you feel like his confidence will take a hit, then it's not worth throwing him out there to throw him out there and to get, hit a lot and, get shaken up and lose his confidence. So I see both sides of it. I'm probably more of the pro play Anthony Richardson from week 1 like you are, but like, I get the other side of the argument as well, and I totally understand it. So it's definitely, Derek, going to be the biggest thing we're watching in training camp. It's not really even close. Like, Anthony Richardson, can he, take that from Gardner Minshew? Because Gardner Minshew is, like, he's not a bad starter, right? He's like,
no,
I would say he's like
he's an average quarterback in this league. Basically.
He's an average starter and a really good backup. And so, like, an average starter, Derek, might be better than Anthony Richardson in year 1. Or, like,
100%.
So, but, like, that's the thing. That's the ultimate question. Jim Irsay even said it. You could go out there and probably win a couple more games with Gardner Minshew, but, like, at the same time, Richardson needs development. He needs game reps. And the Colts know that. They understand that. So it'll just be interesting to see how it shakes out. And does Richardson get handed the keys early, or do they kind of take more of a cautious approach? Because, I mean, again, you took him 4th overall for a reason. So, like, is it worth letting him sit, your top pick sit? I don't know. I don't know if the fans, can handle much of that if you do, have him sit. I mean,
we know what the fans are going to say. I mean, that's the big question, right? Like, the concept of the Colts is going to still remain the same. Even though Steichen's here now, the main objective for Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard and company want this team to win. That's going to be the big thing. While we're also trying to develop Richardson, we also want to win football games. We don't want to just tank and just make all these seasons just unbearable while we're trying to fix this kid up. We want to try to win games while also making sure Richardson's doing the same. So what's the best balance there? I think you and I will both agree on another thing, that regardless of what situation happens with Richardson and Minshew as we move forward in training camp, I think you and I both are going to go out there and have a level of confidence in Steichen and company to be able to figure it out make a sound decision on what they feel is the best course going forward for both Richardson and for Minshew. I mean, we all can sit here and say that we think we know what's best for the team, but that's what they're getting paid for right now. But then we also know that there's the side of the fan base that hears me make that argument about Ballard and then is like, yeah, that's what scares me the most about the Colts going forward is, you know, how much influence does Ballard and Irsay have over Steichen going forward and not letting Steichen, you know, do, you know, whatever Steichen wants to do, right? Because, I mean, Ballard and Irsay, for the most part, let Frank Reich do it, right, for a long time. And then, you know, the team kind of fell apart at the hands of that. So is Ballard and Irsay going to be okay with just another guy running the whole show? I don't know. It's kind of hard to imagine. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm all just going to sit back. I'm just going to go with whatever punches they have. I may not like it if Minshew's starting week 1, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still just going to hope that the Colts win football games. That's all that I care about.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, I think with Steichen, like, you hired the guy, you spent hours and hours with him. Why wouldn't you trust him to go do his plan? You know, like, it's not like he's going to go out there and just completely, like, you know, screw it up. Like, you know,
the team is already screwed up.
Right. You can't screw it up much more than it's been. So, like, if you're Ballard and Irsay and you spent 20 plus hours with this guy in interviews, like, you made the best decision. You felt like, just go with it. You roll with it. And you lay in the bed that you make for yourself, you know, like, whether it's a good one, whether it's not, like, you need to go do this. I mean, signs are pointing to it being a good, you know, thing. But again, we don't know. Steichen's never coached an NFL game as a head coach. So, like, there's a lot of just unknowns when it comes to Shane Steichen as a actual head football coach. So, but yeah, all that to say, like, you got to trust him. If you don't trust him, then what the heck are you doing? You know, like, why would you go through this process if you didn't pick the guy that you felt like you could trust? So I think you have to trust Shane Steichen and what he's going to do, the body of work that he's put in, you know, especially with Jalen Hurts, and then obviously Jim Bob Cooter with Trevor Lawrence, and all these different guys that you brought in, right, that have history working with these young quarterbacks. Like, you just got to trust them that they can do it again, because you bring all these guys together who have done it and who have, you see Trevor Lawrence's first year to his second year. You know, you see, you know, Jalen Hurts, obviously, his first year to his second year as a starter. Like, just things like that. Like, you just need to be able to trust that Shane Steichen can do it. And they ultimately, whether it is Minshew, whether it's Richardson, they have a plan for Richardson because he obviously is the future. And whether that means he's starting week 1 or not, I mean, ultimately, he's going to be your starter down the road. It's just like, you know, is he going to be your starter week 1? That's the ultimate question. But there's no question that he's your guy moving forward. So just let them develop him however they feel fit, whether it means he's out there starting week 1, whether it means he sits a couple games. I'm good with whatever. You know, you have to trust Steichen and company at this point, or else, you know, what else can you do at this point? So,
yep,
that's kind of where I'm at. And that's where they got to be, man. That's just what they got to do.
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Let us know your thoughts on Richardson and Minshew sharing snaps, and make sure that you let us know what your thoughts are on this team and the decision of Richardson and Minshew going forward. Again, guys, thank you so much for all the support. Be prepared for a lot of content this week as the Colts go to practice on Wednesday. We will try to have videos out and YouTube shorts and posts up as much as we can, as quickly as we can. And, of course, we will be at training camp this week on Friday. Make sure you all are out there in full swing. Make sure you guys are staying safe out there because it's going to be very warm when we're there that day. And make sure that you guys, if you see us out there, make sure to say hi and make sure to check out all the content. We got a ton of different ones coming out your guys' way. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much again for all the support. And as always, go Colts.